trip, like she had to go to Michigan. She'd ask my mother, could Mary go with me?
Right.
And my mother always said yes. And she would go to Michigan because she had a house in Michigan, and she had to go and check it out.
How long was it? How old were you when you went to live with Auntie Frances?
I must have been, my mother had the stones,
Okay.
and this is the way it was told to me. Your mother told me.
Okay.
She says, my mother said, you can live with Frances until I'm better.
Okay. Right.
But I stayed there till I was 7.
And then after
I
that,
didn't
you
have
went
any
back.
children.
But you went back and lived with Aunt Frances when you were older.
Then I had to go back to my mother because she wanted me home.
And then after that, did you go back to Auntie Frances when you were older?
Yeah.
When you do remember how old you were?
No.
No.
Oh,
Probably.
after you got divorced?
Oh, you were.
After your marriage, after you got divorced, then you went with Auntie Fran?
Yeah, about that time.
How long were you married?
3 years.
Really? I didn't know that.
You did?
No. How old were you when you got married?
19.
Did you have a wedding ceremony, or did you just get married?
No, I eloped.
And where did you go when you eloped? Do you know?
Michigan,
Yeah,
where I was born.
Where you were born. Did you have any party or anything?
And no,
No
nothing.
party?
Nothing.
Was anybody upset because you got married?
Nothing I know of.
Really? And what was his name? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember his name.
She does. You want to remember his name.
She's so cute.
Yeah, his mama's baby.
But that's okay. We don't care.
Yeah.
Okay? But what was his name? But what was his name?
It's not important. I'd rather not say.
Okay, give me initials. Initials.
Don't leave a bad taste in
I
your
don't
mouth.
remember.
Okay, all right. Was he handsome?
At the time, I thought
He's
so.
probably not handsome anymore.
None of us are.
He's dead.
I mean, the others
So
are.
then, when you split from him, then you probably went and lived with Aunt Frances.
Yeah.
Because you were an adult now.
Right.
Did I what?
You were an adult, you were grown,
Yes.
then you went with, and Grandma couldn't say anything because you could do what you want. And then Uncle Tony, he was already living with
Yeah.
Aunt Frances? Yeah. Tell me what you remember about Uncle Tony when he was a baby.
Oh, he was a saint. And not because his daughter is here.
Are you kidding all this?
He was a saint. I'd go to night school.
Night school?
Take me night school.
What did you go to night school for?
I wanted to be a secretary all my life. And in order to do so, you have to know things about the office. So he'd take me to school, Lakeview, and he'd pick me up. I said, Stone, I can take you. Wait there, I'll pick you up. Just like he does with his daughters.
Really? At Lakeview?
Back and forth. I says, I can go with the bus. I'll take you. I says, no, Tone, it's all right, you don't have to take me. I'll take you, Mary, don't worry about it. And I'll pick you up at 9:30, you know. And in those days, it's not, the streets are not bad as like today.
So he was a wonderful brother.
The best.
Okay. Now, my
All the
mother,
layers.
what do you remember about my mother?
Oh, she was one of the best, too. She was very good.
That's because I'm here, you're saying that.
Oh, I'm not saying that. If she was a bad woman, I'd say, oh, I hate her. She wasn't. No, I loved her, too, because she was very good to me. And I try to be good to her.
You were. Everybody loves you.
When on Sunday I used to come over, it started to rain. I said, I shouldn't have came. She said, yes, you should have.
And what about my father? Did you like him?
Oh, he was another one. I had a chaperone when we went out.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because he wanted to marry her and Grandpa wouldn't let.
No, my father kept saying 2 years from now. Then she, after the 2 years were up, after the 2 years were up, he says 2 more years.
Was she running a store at the time? Was she running one of Grandpa's grocery stores? Was she working? Do you remember? She was working
At the time she was married?
No, at the time she was dating my father.
Oh yeah, because
That's why he didn't want her to get married.
of course, you know,
Because,
you need someone to take care of the store.
of course.
Okay, I got a question. How come my mom was like Auntie Francie's pick, or they were so
Because she was
close?
She was older.
She were old.
Yeah, she was older. When somebody died in our family, guess who brought sandwiches?
Who?
Your mother.
Really?
She came with make a lot of sandwiches. Who feels like cooking? You know, you're all in the dumps.
That's where I get it from.
She came over with the food.
Like,
She
who do you remember that died that she brought the food? Like, who died?
Who's the last one?
Who died? I think it was.
Like Sia or something.
It could have been Sia.
It could have been
because
Sia.
she was the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Who did I forget? I forgot somebody. Joe.
I
John.
really
John.
loved all my brothers and sisters.
I know you did. I know
There was
you did.
not
And
one that
how
was
about-
mean to me.
What was the best thing you could remember about your mother?
My mother. She always would make me win. One time I was hungry. My father was making spaghetti with butter, and I don't like butter.
Butter. I was going to say, specialities don't
And
like
so
butter.
my mother says, "Go in the store and get a tuna fish." You know, she would. You don't have to eat his spaghetti. Go in the store and get a tuna fish. She always was covering up. You know.
Really, she was. And she had a lot of kids if she was like that to cover up. How many bathrooms did you have?
One.
How many beds?
How many beds?
One.
Who slept? Oh, no.
All 5. We were 5 in a bed. I remember my
You hear this, Caitlin?
right across from me, her feet. She was Josephine, Katrina, and the other one, Pat. I think Pat was over here. I was over here. And Joey, my little brother, he was
So all the girls were in one bed, the ones that lived at home.
Yeah.
And Auntie Francie and Auntie Jenny were gone already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are the boys?
Oh, yeah, they were gone a long
And
time.
where did the boys? On the floor?
My brother Babs, when he got married,
He
on the
left.
floor.
Okay. And how about Uncle Johnny and Uncle Tony?
Tony was my friend all the time because he had trouble
The
with his
ears, I
ear,
remember.
mastoid, and
And so what about Johnny?
Johnny, he was married so young.
He
I
was
don't
married
remember when he was young.
Yeah, he was married young. Okay, now the big kahuna. Tell me something about Grandpa.
Grandpa? My
Yeah, your
father,
dad.
I never got hit from him. All
didn't
he had
have
to do was
this
look
look,
at me.
right?
Just look.
He was a good father because when I wanted something, he says, "Go." He'd say to me one day, "Come over here." I said, "What?" He says, "Put this medicine in my tooth." He had a toothache. He says, "I don't know anything about the tooth or nothing. Come over here and put the medicine in my tooth." So I says, "Okay." I did the best I could, you know. I got the medicine and put it in his tooth. And one time he told me to answer the phone. I don't know how to answer the phone. Don't answer the phone. I learned how to answer that phone.
Did everybody learn to speak Italian when they were a kid?
It's not book Italian, it's roughly.
Yes, it's style.
Sicilian
dialect.
dialect. Yeah.
Okay, it's like you all.
Definitely dialect.
It's like you all in Italian.
No, we did the best we could. My mother would say, "You should be cooking something. Bigusalo,
Get the salt.
biguage,
Get the cheese.
bigulo."
Eggs.
Yeah. And she'd say, and I'd be the leg man. I'd be going back.
Here's the question. What did you use to clean this floor, or maybe you didn't, on Larby Street when they washed the linoleum with Linko? Then they put something
I
on the
never
floor.
used it.
Well, Auntie Pat and Auntie Josie used to wash the floor on Larby Street, and after they wiped it all up with the mop and the Linko, they put newspaper.
Yes.
Why?
And my father was very careful.
All the ink will go on the
He
floor.
didn't want to dirty the floor. He would be careful, walk on the newspaper.
They walk on the newspaper.
Yeah.
Why
And then
clean
when
the floor
was
then?
dry, he would pick up the
They would dry the
Now
floor.
I have got a guy to wash the floor for me, but he wipes it after he washes it with cold water. Then he gets a dry rag and wipes it.
That's his newspaper.
You had a cleaning woman for a long time.
Yes, yeah, for 35 years.
Yeah.
She became a part of the
I
family,
believe
though.
it.
How long did Pearl? My mom had Pearl, one of your housekeepers. Do you remember Pearl?
Oh gosh, yeah.
She came over. I don't know why. Auntie Francie had her come over to my house and help my mom.
Oh, your
Pearl?
You know why? Your mother was so good to us that Frank couldn't help it. Could be good to her. You know.
She was
But
such
then-
a nice
then
lady.
Her father.
Oh,
He's got to get my lunch. She's got to get my lunch.
What's the
Jealous.
What's the only argument you ever had with your brothers or sisters?
I have never had an argument with them. The lady when we went to, I took my brother to the dentist. She said, "Don't you two ever argue?" I says, "What for?" Because we got along, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We never.
Okay, I think the only one I didn't ask you about was Aunt Frances.
Uncle Betty.
Why?
I
know.
said, what do you remember about Aunt Frances?
Oh, could I live without her? No.
No.
No. She was great.
And Uncle Babby?
Who?
Uncle Babs.
Well, and hardly ever got to see him.
He was like a
But
gangster.
he used to come in and come out,
Yeah,
go
big
out,
cigars.
come in the house.
He was
and
like
go.
a gangster, though, wasn't he? Do you think he was like a gangster?
No.
No?
Whoever said that?
No?
The car dealership.
Oh, okay. And do you remember his wife?
Mary Ellen?
Mm-hmm.
One day she wanted me to go to show with her, and
I'm not in your way,
I didn't want to go because I had other things to do. She went to tell Babs, "Mary won't go to show with me." He came by me and he says, "Mary,
What happened,
why don't you
Jack?
want to go to show with my wife?" She wanted to go and see Gone with the Wind
Really?
at the State and Lake.
Oh, downtown. Nice.
Yeah, and so I says, "Well, I had other things to do. Why don't you go with her?" I says, "Okay, I'll go." So we went to the show, and these are Pat Coquina's kids, you know. But she was she would, I'd ask her a lot of questions, and because she wanted to be a teacher, she was a very good teacher.
She played the piano?
Not that I know.
I remember they had a piano.
I have a piano, but I didn't play.
No, Auntie Mary Ellen had a piano.
That I don't know.
Okay, now, Fran, when you were kids,
Yeah.
did you celebrate Christmas? Did you give presents to one
Never.
another?
I don't remember your mother gave me a present, though.
Really?
She would always give me something.
You mean when
No,
you?
but she's saying when you're real little, when you're
We never
You're
in
grandma's
exchanged
house.
gifts.
No. How about your birthdays? Did you have a birthday cake?
No.
Okay.
All
there
right, my
was-
battery's going dead.
Okay. All right, Auntie, tell me how old are you now? I know.
I'm
Say
not saying.
no. You told me what
100.
year. Okay, don't
You
tell
tell
me.
her.
Don't tell me how old you
10
are.
years younger than Auntie.
Carm.
10 years younger than Auntie Carm.
That's all you need to
Okay.
know.
Okay.
All right, sign out.